Good afternoon, good evening. Many Zimbabweans have expressed their disappointment and alarm at the rate at which the nation's wealth is being looted. When Mnangagwa got into power in 2017, he promised to stamp out corruption. And one of the areas where corruption has been rampant is in the mining of our nation's resources. Diamonds, gold, lithium, you name it. He has not stamped out the corruption there. If anything, the looting is accelerated. And I agree with many Zimbabweans out there who have expressed their concern at how much the nation's wealth is being looted. And the tragedy of our situation is that the country itself is not benefiting from all this looting activity. If anything, our vast mineral resources have become our curse. Instead of it being a blessing, it's now a curse. Because some of the looted wealth is now bankrolling those in positions of power and authority. Zanu PF passion for power is insatiable. Mnangagwa and his Zanu PF cronies, ever since they got into power in 1980, they've cared about nothing else. They must hang on to power at all costs. And the Chinese have understood that. And what they've done is offer the regime the political and economic backing to keep them in power. And in return, they've been given the open license to loot the country's resources. I agree with Zimbabweans like Tendai Ruben Bofana, who's been expressing his concern at what is going on in our country. Here is an ordinary Zimbabwean expressing or telling us what has happened in his own experience.
Indeswa Israel kapondo mundu wangu uno wakachewa namachaina wachiti zvese meso kwengu kuno madomasi kwesoko mvura pana patichimwa pabhoro riri pano ramuri kuona iri bhoro rese rakatocherwa rakatohondongwa hapana kana chawakatiitira kana chii waitongouya vachitinyepera kuti hanza isisu ndoda kugadzirirai makatoramba neminda yenyu sisi tinovakuru watinawo vatinoti hairengi chaiyo chaiyo munofungidzira kuti imikoka mukusvikepa tinovakuru vati vanotitsigira ukangoramba chete sisi chaiyo chimaina minda yenyu musida musingadi ende isisi kana mukatienda kana kuema kana kupi kwese kwavanotiziva tinobhadhara mari tinovapa sei vasingatisungi.
What the gentleman is saying there is at the heart of our problem in Zimbabwe. We have a regime that has given these people who are looting the country's resources at an alarming rate the license to do so. And the main beneficiary are those who are looting, of course. In a recent documentary by Al Jazeera, The Gold Mafia, you can Google it, you can see it for yourself, listen to it for yourself. Al Jazeera revealed that Zimbabwe's gold mine alone is worth 2 billion US dollars per annum. And 80% of that is smuggled. And guess who was named as one of the key players in the gold mafia? Mnangagwa himself. What actually happens here is that he gets his share of the looted wealth, and he uses that to bankroll his vote buying, vote rigging activities that has helped Zanu PF to remain in power to this day. Zanu PF has corrupted all the country's state institutions. The ZEC, the police, the army, the judiciary, they've all been bought by Zanu PF. They are all now Zanu PF in all but name. And most significantly of all, the regime has also bought the opposition. Whilst the people of Zimbabwe still believe they can have change, political, meaningful change, by voting for the opposition, the reality on the ground is totally different. The MDC-CCC was founded in 1999. Now, 25 years down the line, they failed to implement even one token reform. This is why Zanu PF is able to blatantly rig elections. There is no doubt that MDC had their best opportunity to implement the democratic reforms and stop Zanu PF rigging the elections in 2008 to 2013 during the GNU. Mugabe bribed Morgan Tsvangirai with the trappings of high office. And the rest is history. And ever since the GNU debacle, MDC-CCC leaders have participated in flawed elections, knowing fully well that Zanu PF was rigging, knowing fully well that by participating, they give Zanu PF legitimacy. And the main problem we have had in Zimbabwe is that the people themselves have been slow in picking that up. So we have had years of the opposition participating and assuring the people that they are going to bring about change, knowing fully well that, of course, they are lying, and the people believing them, participating in the flawed elections only to give Zanu PF legitimacy. And in turn, Zanu PF has rewarded the Chinese and all the other looters with the opportunity to continue the looting. It is interesting to note in this photograph that the mining that is being done there is causing the whole mountainside to slide. That's the kind of destruction we are looking at here. In some of these cases, when where the Chinese have gone in, like the video we've seen before, when they've got what they wanted, they've walked away without even making any effort at all to consolidate and clean up their operations. Zimbabwe is being looted at an alarming rate. And those who are benefiting from the looting are using part of the process to keep themselves in power. So to come back to what Bofana was saying there at the beginning, that we must do something to stop this. Stopping the Chinese will not be a walk in the park. Because to stop the Chinese, we've got to stop Zanu PF rigging the elections. And at the present moment, there is no chance of any meaningful democratic reforms to stop Zanu PF rigging the elections being implemented, at least not before 2028. So we can forget about 2028 elections being free, fair, and credible. What we can do is focus on the issue of making sure that those elections, Zanu PF does not get away with legitimacy. SADC and the AU observed our 2023 elections, and they condemned those as flawed and illegal. I believe SADC and the AU would have gone one step further and denied Zanu PF political legitimacy if 2 million Zimbabweans had not participated and voted for the opposition. Our problem is we participated. We have been warned so many times that if you participate, you give the process legitimacy. We participated because we believed Chamisa's idiotic lie that he had plugged all the vote-taking loopholes. It was idiotic because everyone could see that wasn't true. You can't go in an election without even something as basic as a verified voter's roll. And yet that is exactly what Chamisa did. And millions believed him. 2028, Chamisa is already on the campaign trail, trying to convince people that he would win the elections, win big. Even if there are no meaningful reforms implemented. The question is, if people believe him, as they've done in the past, then they pay the price for it. That is an idiotic lie, and if you believe an idiotic lie, you pay for it. If Chamisa participates and millions participate with him, Zanu PF would have political legitimacy and stay in power. And as long as Zanu PF is in power, the looting will continue. We ain't seen nothing yet. That is the reality of the situation in Zimbabwe. Think about it. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.